today. We have a packed agenda. After this session, you will walk out with a foundational knowledge of what marketing is, the whole world, and as well frameworks to build a customer-centric communications plan digitally, not only for your business, but as well for your personal brand. So you might have heard, some of you know, there are 4 P's in marketing. Those are product, price, promotion, and placement. Those were built in the 60s and they became very popular and are still a very important mix of marketing and live under brand management. Now, we also have another vertical that we call marketing communications, and that's where digital marketing and advertising actually fall. One of the things that I think of as marketing is, I personally call it as market acting. Everything that you as business owners need to do in order to have your service or product from conception to a business itself. I also like this definition of marketing. Marketing is the act of creating change. Now, if you think about it, every single one of you here that have a business are disrupting a market and are creating change itself. So you should consider yourselves marketers. All right, like as you have heard, marketing started in the 50s with advertising, and within marketing communications, we have the traditional marketing, how it's called today. That means the television spots, the TV spots, radio spots, newspaper adverts, and that continues to exist. In the late 90s, when the internet was born, the Web 2, as we call it today, that's where digital actually was created, and particularly exploded when the smartphones were created in the late 2000s, and particularly as well when Facebook was born with social media. We're going to get into the 9 categories of digital marketing. This is it. This is what it is. SEO, you might have heard about it. It means search engine optimization, and it is all about the process of technically optimizing the configuration of your page, content relevance, link popularity, and that is linked to your pages. So when then people look for you, you're more relevant, you're discoverable, and search engines can pick you and rank you higher. Now, there are more nuances towards that, but I want you to remember that search engines are not only Google and Bing. Search engines are like YouTube and Amazon and all the social medias. So as you think of keywords and you build your profile, make sure to optimize for search those areas as well. Pay-per-click, think of it as like the newspaper advert that was basically transferred online, and you pay for every single time that a user clicks on it. There is great courses that you can also find on Verizon Small Business Digital Ready. If you're not signed up, sign there for free. That can give you a breakdown of that area. Content marketing. Everyone is on content marketing. It's about articles, listicles, blogs, and as well your content on social media platforms. Podcasts, they do live in digital. And I will be curious to know how many of you have them. Social media networks, you know them all. They're multiple, from Alignable to Facebook, Meta, YouTube, as well as social media platform, and so on. Email marketing, not much to say in there. Affiliate marketing is influencers and ambassadors. Video marketing, if you're not on video today, you're missing out. That's the #1 element of marketing digital today. And SMS, it's emerging, particularly with bots and WhatsApp and customer service. So those right there are the 9 chapters of what digital marketing is. Now we're going to get into planning and why planning is so important. Now, did you know that the second reason why small businesses close is because they don't have a business plan? And the third is because they don't have a marketing plan that is relevant in place. So that's the reason why it's so important to plan. I always start with these 4 questions. And another thing to remember is that business plans are one big bucket, and then marketing plan is embedded in the business plan. In this session, we're going to focus on marketing planning, and we'll start with the goals as part of business. So 4 main questions. First one is, what do you want to accomplish? It's all about setting your goals. Why you? It's about the essence of your business, your values, your value proposition, and your messaging. Who's your target? We need to really understand who are we talking to. Those are the ones that actually create business. And where we'll meet them is the communication channels that we're going to use in order to engage with them and generate that business. Setting goals. One thing that I want to share with you is usually we talk about increased sales, double sales, increase market share. I want to share with you a framework that I personally use and that is proven to bring more focus and particularly priority between your teams to enable each one of your organizations to hit the goals. So instead of double dollar sales, think of this question. How do I overcome a challenge to gain a result? In this example, we're going to talk about a car brand. And so in order to elevate those sales, this car brand needs to expand the manufacturer capacity to an XY amount of vehicles to be able to sell those cars and then deliver the incrementality of revenue. You see right there is if they don't have the focus on manufacturing facility, they will never be able to have the product, and therefore no one will ever be able to sell. So therefore sales wouldn't come. That is a big difference between just saying dollar sales. This gives a priority that in this organization, operations and manufacturing come first. Second goal is marketing. Marketing needs to build on the business plan. So every market in there should be thinking of how I'm going to motivate certain target to buy those cars. And the way you do it is with the same framework. How do you overcome a challenge to gain a result? So in this case, we're going to go straight into stealing users and this car owners from our competitor. And what we're going to tell them is we're going to motivate them through our messaging of describing why our cars are different and better than the competitor. Second one is why you. This is all rooted about your essence. One of the other reasons why we small businesses struggle sometimes is because we don't understand what is really what we're offering and the why versus the what. Start always with, what if my business didn't exist? What would happen? And what would anyone care? Instead of what comes after? And it's about your story. We're going to tap on that later. Who is your target? We're going to start with personas. I'm kind of sure that you already use those. They're called as well avatars or audience target, multiple ways of doing it. Besides specifically the demographics and what we know about our target, the most important thing to elevate our empathy is to have the conversation. Why? Because we want to understand what is the problem that they're having so we can solve it. In this example, we're going to role play that we are a real estate agent. So we know that Dan here is expanding his business. He has bigger teams and his office space is really tight. He needs to expand. So once we have a conversation and we can get this specific problem together, what I would encourage you doing is build empathy and as well embrace tools that are in the marketplace. This is a tool. I'm not paid for it, but I use it a lot. I like it a lot. Some of the first searches are for free, and I'm going to put it on the chat so you know. It's called Spark Toro. And what it tells you is what is going on with these users. In this example, people type, I'm going to look for, okay, what happens when people type the keyword office for small businesses? And below on the left-hand side, you can see that right away, it gives me a little bit of an idea of what's the communication channels that they are engaging with. So they're in YouTube and they also listen to podcasts. The other beauty about this kind of audience research tools is that it can give you information on where to find them on social. So on the chart on the right-hand side, you'll see all the biggest social media platforms. And the most important thing is that for those folks that use keywords office for small businesses, they over-index in 3 platforms, not all of them. So now we can have a better understanding as we continue to build on the persona, not only of who they are, what's their biggest problem. So as a real estate agent, I can put my mindset towards solving that problem, but as well, I'm going to have information on where should I be prioritizing my marketing channels to ensure that my resources are effective and as well efficient. Now, we're going to get into the second one. As we understand our target, we talk about defining that persona, building empathy, leveraging research audience tools, and as well, we want to understand our competitors too, because Dan and these target is getting messages from outside as well. This is another tool that I like a lot. And again, I'm not paid for it, but I use it a lot. It's called similarweb.com. And it's all, sometimes it's for free as well, the first one. And it can give you an idea of, in this case, it's WeWork. So if we tap WeWork on that tool, it can give us what are the channels that WeWork is focusing on. We can see that it's direct and organic search, the most important ones, that it's actually not breaking to understand because they have an established brand, so people will go directly. But they do have social referrals here. And we want to understand, what does it mean? What does it mean in this data is that they're getting traffic to their website through referrals. That's why it's so important to engage in social media platforms that create that word of mouth to you. On the side of messaging, we also want to understand what are they receiving in terms of messaging. And WeWork specifically, as you can see on the paid search, they have different ads. And what they're talking about, it's about specifically selected private offices and as well businesses verify. So as you continue to build your value proposition, you want to understand what consumers are saying so your target can get the differentiation from you and be able to decide and discern where they're going to go. Where we want to meet Dan is about their journey. You might have heard as well of customer journey as awareness and consideration and purchase and advocacy. The way I personally like to think about it is in these 4 verbs. They're very actionable and they're towards people, from people to people. So think of them as when you are trying to understand what is out there, instead of aware, you're seeing. Thinking is like, oh, do I go here or there? You're considering, you're thinking about it, what I do. And then finally, when I already bought that product or service, I care so much about it that then I can spread the word of that product or service. Into customer journeys, how do we do that? Well, I invite you to do this quick exercise. You can do it by yourself or with your teams. Start with those big stages: see, think, do, and care. Then write in columns the following things. First one, all the activities, put their activities, what my user persona is going to do. Touch points, those are the channels where those activities happen. Pain points are those problems that this target is looking for. Emotions, in marketing, we use it a lot because then you can understand what's the tone of your message. And then the last row would be all about how you're going to help them. Bring the Post-its and start creating. We're going to see one example. So in C, when Dan is looking for an office, that's where he starts actually his journey. So we're going to literally write down, Dan begins looking for offices. Then the second one, we want to know where they're doing it. And so in this case, they go to YouTube. I'm going to put those channels there. Pain points is that he's overwhelmed with the amount of message that he's getting from real estate agents that are saying exactly the same thing. So his emotion there is like not super happy. He's kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed. So the way our real estate business is going to help Dan is we're going to create a video with someone that has been a formal customer of ours, that has all explaining what the process is, that is amazing to work with us. And in order to spread that word, we're going to put some money behind that ad. You're going to iterate through each one of the stages: the see, the think, the do, and care. And all the last row will have your initiatives that either yourself or your team have come up with. Once you have those, what you do is you put Dan in the center, you bring the 9 chapters of digital, and as you lift from your customer persona, the customer journey, you get right here, voila, a customer-centric marketing plan. digital, actually. It's totally focused on digital. With that, we've just covered how to build a customer-centric digital marketing plan. I got for you some other trends to inspire you and to think of. Social, at the beginning, was more about like showing up as friends and family. Today, actually, it's all about not only social, but as well service and sales. And if we think of what people do on social media, they look for people. So as you start thinking of your business and your personal brand, think as well how you're going to be optimizing your keywords. Video, you're here, so sure you're using online and video. Video is number one element to tell your story, and number one element for return on investment for marketing. Embrace it, tell your story, tell what the product is all about. And that brings us to this content needs to be personal. What it means by personal is build that empathy, embrace data-driven insights using AI tools and the research audience tools that I just mentioned. There are multiple others. So you can create that content that when we say meaningful is that it feels that I'm seen and that you're telling me something that almost as if you heard me. The other trend that is very much emerging is how we build our partnerships. For business owners, for small business owners, we still grow our businesses through referrals. That's why being in this platform is amazing. 8 out of 10 business owners are saying out, this is surveys from SBA and from other small business sources, that they still grow their business through referral. Now, one opportunity that we're seeing is that only almost 3 out of 10 businesses, small businesses, use influencers and use ambassadorship programs. So that's an opportunity for us. How do we build better expandable programs by joining forces with someone else? Now, did you know that today 9 out of 10 Americans own a smartphone? And that back in 2011, less than 4 had a smartphone? That's why it's imperative for us to be present online today. That is not optional anymore. So how you start is start by you. Start by your own personal brand, especially for small business owners. It's all about as well creating that splash and opening up our doors to what we do. So then people can create that trust. We can build a trust and get into business. So start by telling your story, use the framework that we just learned, exactly the same ones, and convert it from a brand to a personal brand. The other thing that I want to share, that I want to actually, again, bring to mind is we do need to know our audience and really know our audience. It's all about people to people. And the beauty about technology is that we can expand our humanity by leveraging these tools that are from artificial intelligence, but as well research tools. So don't shy away to be customer obsessed and bring that message straight into how do you help that target. Why you goes back to the opportunity of telling your own story. This is all about why would anyone care? That's the difference between building a service of a product and building a personal brand. We're even more closer to human. And where do we find them? Well, this is the other thing. In the United States, we use on average 7 social media platforms per capita. That is a lot on a monthly basis. And not every social media platform was created the same, equally. And you see on the kind of like violet row, we can see certain things that people do in each one of these social media platforms. And where do they go? If we're all about connecting with decision makers and building our personal brand, then Alignable, LinkedIn, and Twitter, that's where we want to be. So as you build your content, be mindful of, first off, why you, and then where is those conversations happening? Because this is key for us small businesses. We need to prioritize. We cannot do everything at the same time. And for specific content, make sure to be authentic, be creative, come as you, and be informative. This is something that I would love to mention, that it has to be a different mindset of show up to help, not to promote. How you do that, all we just heard from the planning of a digital marketing to transfer it to our own personal brand and to embrace network. Well, this is the best thing to do. We can scale our networking through online and specifically social media. How do you do that? It's transferring the same things that happen on real life, like in the real world, to online. You build relationships by showing up. You engage with others by echoing and elevating the conversation, and you bring value. Once you have built those relationships and bring the value for authority and show up for community, you will become top of mind, you will create word of mouth, and ultimately grow. So don't shy away. This is a platform exactly. If you're already joined, you're already doing networking and the fusion of social media. So thank you because you are on the right route. With that, I would like to open for questions